Welcome to Direct Approach, a bi-weekly podcast hosted by Wayne Moorehead, delivering timely insights, fresh perspectives, and actionable takeaways from your direct selling executive peers to fuel your business's growth and evolution. What does it take to build a wellness brand rooted in trust, purpose, and people-first leadership? In this episode of Direct Approach, host Wayne Moorehead sits down with Alexy Goldstein, CEO and master formulator of New You Life, to explore how product integrity, personal connection, and a commitment to service have fueled his journey. From innovation to mentorship, Alexy shares what it really means to lead with heart. But before we begin, we'd like to thank this episode's sponsor, OrderGroove. OrderGroove powers smarter subscriptions for serious direct selling brands. As the leading subscription platform for the world's fastest growing direct selling companies, OrderGroove turns basic auto ship into a high-performing growth engine, driving recurring revenue, improving distributor retention, and maximizing customer lifetime value. OrderGroove's flexible API seamlessly integrates with any e-commerce, commission, marketing, or homegrown system. Ready to future-proof your revenue model? Discover how OrderGroove can help you boost retention, drive revenue, and empower your distributors. Visit ordergroove.com to learn more. Now let's welcome your host, Wayne Moorehead, and his guest, Alexy Goldstein.
Hello and welcome to another episode of DSN's Direct Approach podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Moorehead, and today's guest is a direct selling leader with more than 30 years of experience in product innovation and formulation. He began his career at 18, where he took over his family business, and since then has founded multiple successful companies across multiple channels. He holds certifications in homeopathy, iridology, and herbal medicine. I'm excited to welcome Alexy Goldstein, CEO and master formulator at New You Life. Alexy, thank you so much for being on Direct Approach.
Wayne, it's an honor. Thank you so much for having me here today.
You have such an interesting background. I've really been looking forward to getting a lot of insights from your incredible experience, from your history and multiple channels, and how you've brought in those learnings and those insights from multiple channels to turn New You Life into a really successful and growing company. And I'm so excited to learn more. I'm curious, you founded multiple companies, as we mentioned. What was that unique opportunity that you saw at New You Life to come into direct selling? What was the white space you saw?
To be honest with you, when I started, I was a big competitor with direct selling companies. The opportunity came up. I learned something very special and very important about being able to help many people in a more efficient way. That means I'm usually used to spending time with business owners and their teams one at a time, clients one at a time. Now I'm able to touch groups of people and hundreds of thousands at a time.
Absolutely. I love that one of the common themes when everyone mentions why they got into direct selling and how they got into direct selling, whether it's on the corporate side or the field side, it's really the people, it's the impact, it's that community. And that's what I love as well. So I love hearing that from you. And with that vast experience, you've been in retail, you've been in direct to consumer and online. What were some of those key strategies or learnings that you brought from those channels into direct selling?
People, customer service,
Yep.
people. I'm all about product and I'm all about people. I'm all about the stories from people. So I've learned so much from working with building a strong clientele, being able to help them specifically with their health needs, bringing people through the challenge and teaching them about growing, and more importantly, helping more with self-development, right? Self-growth. And you enter this industry, utilize your experience with people and product. It gives you a different kind of ability to apply sincere support to your organization, where you actually want to help people develop, improve their health, and develop building an organization at the same time. This is key from building businesses in the past, right? And learning in a smaller way what people go through on their way up, right? And what kind of challenges people face as well during the process of building organizations. More importantly, having an anchor through the challenges, and the anchor is honesty, sincerity, and producing something valuable to humanity. It all starts with your health and building knowledge over the time, Wayne, into the industry specifically of health and wellness has been growing exponentially over the last 3 decades. Bringing this category to this industry here with hormone health specifically has been life-changing as well. So this is something else other than people, as I've been able to work deeply in and bring to this industry as well, and dive deep into it and educate everybody about as well.
Yeah, I think it's really powerful that when I asked about all the multiple channels, it still came back to people. And I think that's a great reminder for me that even though, we all may compete in different ways, we may operate our business in different ways, but still it's about connecting and communicating to an audience, to a person, and providing value and helping them grow and improve their lives. So that's a great reminder for me. You mentioned the anchors. I'm curious, as you started New You Life, I'm sure that you had these, personal anchors at other companies, but establishing these anchors as part of the foundation, was that kind of a formal process for you? Was it something that just kind of happened organically? How did you look at setting that strategic foundation?
So it's actually both ways. It's both ways. There's some anchors that I've always relied on all my life. Never ever cutting quality for any amount of money. Never ever compromising integrity of the product for any amount of money. This is something I've brought from day one. That's what got me in the industry. That's what got me into manufacturing and sourcing, getting deeper into the weeds and finding out where the holes are, where can we prevent taking risks with people's lives, providing with people with their, again, people, right, with the best they deserve. You have people out there relying on you, trusting you, driving to see you, spending their own hard work, money earned to support you, put food on your table. We owe these people the best we can. As an owner, a founder, a leader, I have to provide them with the best that I can. I have to provide our leaders the best that I can as well. So this is one of my oldest anchors that I've always relied on in an industry that was challenged back in the day, 30 plus years ago, where today it has more credibility than ever. There's still a lot of loopholes that you need to still have no compromise as the first rule. So what I learned here is so many more anchors that we have to rely on in the industry as well, that I have to apply on the company. Loyalty and trust from our consumers is very important to support them consistently. And there's so many high risks in the industry that keeps things volatile. So we have to always be transparent, right? And I like to treat people as I like to be treated as well. So I have some of the pillars that I have right here on my board 24/7. Lead by example and own it. And it's important to make sure we transcend this down through our team, through our corporation, all the way to the consumer at the bottom, and we treat them equally. At the end, it's hard to run a company. It's hard to scale a company to that level. But if you always rely on your initial goals from the beginning, which is the consumer, the most important thing is our customers that trust us. You have to stand there and go. If you expect them to go through the thick and thin, you have to as well go through the thick and thin, and never divert direction, and keep your focus and keep your attention on the line. And this way, I can tell them, hey, I went through it. I'm here for you, right? And this way I expect them to do the same thing as well. So this is a few of the anchors, like from leading by example to staying straight through the tough waters as well and navigating that. But above everything, we have to deliver something of quality and something unique. And this is where never ever compromise the quality for any amount of money, which is also extremely hard nowadays as well, because prices and competition drives everything. So education is very important as well. So those are a few of the anchors that I rely on, and this is a category that keeps growing as you become a bigger company, more international. There's more and more anchors as we deal with people, and the anchors are just for us to stand on and help unify teams around the world. So
I know those anchors have been one of the important factors in New You Life's continued success. And I think some people might look at, defining some of these anchors or pillars as restrictive at times, that maybe it won't give them the flexibility. But as I've heard you speak about before at DSU, it really helps speed things up in that once you understand what's important, how to act, what is negotiable and what is non-negotiable, then decision-making and scaling can be a lot easier once you take the time to put those in place. So I think that's really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The most important, because it takes away the challenge, and you always have, it clears the clouds and makes your goal a little bit more easier to reach as well. Because every time I even make or design a new formula, I go back to my principles and my anchors, right? When I have a question I can't answer, I go back to my principles and my anchors. Yes.
It clears the clouds. I love that. I may steal that, but I'll give you credit the first few
You
times
bet.
for it.
All yours.
So you mentioned some of the change, the volatility, shifting landscape, not just in direct selling, but across sales channels. As you look at the state of direct selling today, what are some of the paradigm shifts or perspective shifts that we need to be making, especially for those of us like myself that have been in the channel for a long time?
Man, this time is harder than it's ever been, and I don't know if it's going to get worse or better in the next few years with the complete AI hostile takeover of the planet and robots coming next with the jobs that are going to be displaced and peoples that are going to be displaced in the next year to decade is the amount is ridiculous. Something that this industry offers is extremely unique is a word called network, a word that I never understood for the first 30 years building other businesses, right? And when I came here, Wayne, I grew to respect that word more than ever. People have to adopt and become part of a network to rely on in the future. Something we have to do in this industry is lead by example. We have to lead by example. We have to honor our word. We have to do our best to make people understand that we are a safety net, but we will work with them to adapt to the changes outside, where we bring something special, like something authentic and sincere, something of value. One thing this industry extremely special about, and I've known for years that I've signed up with many brands when I was a customer before I was a distributor. I hated the model back then, but I loved that direct selling was always innovative with product. So we have to continue to lead with our innovation. Bigger than all of this, and I believe I mentioned this at the end of my speech at the DSN. We need to gather up together as a community. We literally own less than 1%, of the market. I came from the 99%, right? If we don't back each other up as leaders of companies, owners of companies, founders of companies in this industry, and have some kind of respect and moving forward and creating a strong community together, I think this is one of the most important elements to put our superpowers forward to the 99% of the world, right? To create more organization to be able to move forward together and penetrate the 99% of the world as well in a better way. I think we should rely on each other a little bit more. And this is where all the hard work that you guys put in comes in extreme value to what we do, right? Me connecting to colleagues, instead of looking at this colleagues as a competitor, is extremely important to understand each other and know that there's a lot of room to work together and go to the outside world and welcome more people into our industry. Make the government and regulatories understand about our industry as well. This industry is here to stay forever. It's more credible. It's coming from a hater to a lover, right? Personally, I can't tell you more, Wayne. I've learned so much over the last 7.5 years here in this industry about respecting my colleagues and what they call competitors. I call them colleagues and leaders in this industry and people that have built brands and stuff like that, and to support the organizations from the DSN to the DSA and everybody in between is extremely important to be able to face the future and face the changes and the shifts that are happening. This is some of the key points that I see extremely important.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. I love that idea around coming together and the collective impact that we can have. We're so good at it at our individual companies of creating community and having a really great global collective impact. And I still think we have some opportunities as a channel to come together more collectively to have an even greater impact. We know that we're all impacted. If something happens to one of us, to some degree, it happens to all of us. And I think there's a way to really get upstream and use our power of community building to really affect great change. You talked about the potential disruption and displacement coming down the pike because of AI. I'm curious, do you see that as an opportunity for us in direct selling?
Everything is an opportunity. Every change, every attack, every positive and negative is an opportunity. It depends how you look at it as a person. Since I built my first store in 1990, I was the only one, and then a few years later, I had like a 50 in my vicinity, right? I never looked at it as competition, really. And they all came and they all left, and I was still there. So it really depends on the perception of how you take it. For me, I welcome this, as it's going to streamline a lot of our hard work, make it easier, and frees my team to be able to focus on the people. Again, the people that it's all about. I think it's going to be really, really good for us in this industry to be able to show our sincerity, our truth, improve our education, improve our training, and I think, I don't know, I think the best times ever are about to come for our industry because of AI. And even though it might be hard at the beginning because it's going to create a lot of competition, but if you're able to understand how to utilize it properly to support the consumer at the end of the day, our people that trust us and believe in us, I think unequivocally there's nothing that's going to come better than this opportunity for us in the direct selling industry to be able to educate and support a consumer utilizing AI to streamline our services that require so much of our time or energy, to be able to get rid of this, give that time to our people, which is the most important in creating a network.
That's great. I share that sentiment as well. I'm really excited, maybe even more excited than I've ever been for the channel over the next 5 years with AI, with the increase in social connectivity and social selling. It just plays into our superpowers, as you mentioned it. So also looking at the channel, we are getting much better at segmentation. Instead of having, one speakerphone communicating to everybody as if they're all the same and have the same needs, wants, and desires, we're really starting to understand the role that both customers and distributors play in our businesses. I'm curious how you look at approaching both the customer as well as the distributor audiences and segments.
Utilizing technology is easier than ever. Of course, putting education through mainstream lines and making sure we back it up by science and evidence of our own testimonials that come to us, all our companies together, is one thing, right? But also relying on technology allows people to be able to double check and verify as well, because we're not alone. We're in an industry that's massive. Again, we're utilizing 1% of the industry that we live in, right? So that allows people to be able to learn more about the scientific evidence and about sharing how to train and all of this, utilizing that technology moving forward. In the past, it would take training, right? It would take physical training in place. That creates a little bit more of a solid relationship with people. I think we still have to apply a certain percentage of our business on the old methods to be able to retain some of that forever building relationships, right? We should not, from conventions to incentives, I believe these are always here to stay. I think we should push more in the direction that people missed out on. Since COVID, we went all on Zooms, right? Zoom is fantastic, but Zoom it's not like a handshake and an eye to eye look. People actually miss those relationships. I recall when they used to tell me, hey, people are going to be more efficient working from home. This is going to improve culture. I never agreed with any of those claims. Wait, never. Even Facebook, and now they're all complaining that we're losing who we are, right? And it's all going to start from using those methods to improve culture internally before you reach out to our consumers and to customers and their distributors to show them what we're about, who we're about. I think adopting those methods, again, supporting and pushing these methods on our own first, being there, right? And I think utilizing technology to expedite this to happen will allow us to be able to be competitive in the industry. And then the part two would be looking at the outside world in terms of influencers and affiliates that are competing day and night. Are they authentic? Educating our
Right.
for authenticity of the outside competitive world. With AI, I can jump on right now, create an ad in 5 seconds on a product. I can create a product myself in less than 30 days. Put anything I want in it. Buy a fake face or an influencer, put it on it, and support it and create millions in sale. And the product could be insignificant or hardly have any really benefit to people. And then I'll disappear before anybody finds out, don't catch me, right? This is the problem in the health and wellness industry and in other industries as well, the lack of regulation, and it's on us. And the network marketing industry actually stands above the rest. And this is what we need to sell. This is what we need to show. We're here. We are here. You can come to us all the time. We're not those companies that come 5 minutes and disappear 5 minutes. We're not one of those influencers. Not all the influencers, but we're not one of those influencers that just are AI generated. They'll appear to create a fake ad with a bunch of fake claims and disappear. You can count on us and count on everything we do. We bring substance to the health and wellness industry as well, and all the other industries where direct selling is involved in. You always get to communicate with a human being, not with a fake AI. So.
Yeah, that authenticity is so vital today to stand out from all of the noise that's out there from a D2C and advertising perspective. And I love that you also talked about the importance of getting back in person, face to face at events. I think we all saw the potential with going virtual and the incredible reach that it provides, but we were definitely missing something. Missing that connection, missing that authenticity that you talked about. So I love that as a channel, our companies are getting back to prioritizing those in-person and intimate relationships that we have with the ultimate end user. Because again, that's really what differentiates us from those other influencers and affiliates that are the one and done, make a post, sell a product and move on. But ours is about that long-term relationship.
Like hiring a mercenary. Right?
Exactly.
It's not a long-term thing, and it's not a good method to build a family and build a unit and build a relationship. Not with a stranger, especially not with a person within the family as well. So I'm fully on board. I believe in that wholeheartedly.
So customer has been, especially being so product focused, customer's been such an important part of your business. As you look at the journey a customer goes through, do you see that as part of a journey to ultimately becoming a brand partner or distributor? Do you kind of help nurture that journey along? Or do you think it's important for people to kind of, find their own way, make their own decision and interact with our companies the way that they want to best?
Man, this is a very tough question. I wish I know the answers to everything, Wayne. I'll tell you what I believe personally into this. There's two types of people out there. There's some people that are already mature enough to know what they want, right? Or successful enough or developed enough to know what they want. And those people, I don't believe we should mess with, right? If I know what I want, just let me be kind of thing. And we should respect these people and allow them to communicate with us and get input from them on how we can get better. There's the rest of the people that are established leaders and they want to be part of a strong organization. I personally believe as a leader, leaders need to be led, and the leaders need direction as well. And this group of people is even more important to pay attention to, right? And I would like to be part of their journey and part of their direction. And it's not a solid line. It's always a wiggly path on how do you ultimately get to where you need to be. But I believe it's a 50-50. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sway one way or another. I try to go at it by learning who the family members are, who my customers are, who my distributors are, what type of leadership do I have, and we try to adapt and adjust to their needs. And this is what I believe the minimum we can do for people out there. One of the biggest things I learned in this industry is a crash course in personal development. Okay, I don't need to be, or I don't need to do what I'm doing, but I do it because I want to. I do it because I need to grow. I learned that this is the same problem that the people face, especially distributors, not customers, right? When they come into our industry, it's a crash course in how to work with people. In a lifetime, you meet, I don't know, 100,000 people in your life. And in this industry, you meet 100,000 people in 5 years. So you're going to hear a lot of yeses, nos, challenges, adjustments. So it's a skill that you have to develop. Personally, wait, I would do it for free just to develop my skills and working with other humans. It's really a blessing. It's really a blessing. So if we make people understand that, especially leaders, that will help them grow as well on their journey in life, even after the stage.
Are you ready to revolutionize the way your direct selling company accesses industry insights? Introducing the DSN Library's Smart Search, an AI-powered tool that puts over 2,000 curated assets at your fingertips. From compensation trends to emerging markets, answers are just a click away. If you're already a DSN supporter, then you have access to Smart Search right now. If not, it's time to check out our updated program for 2025. Starting at just $1,000 per month, your entire company can get access to the channel's most comprehensive collection of education and insights available. Visit directsellingnews.com/supporter to see a demo of Smart Search in action and to learn how your company can become a supporter now. We also invite you to join us for the Fall DSU happening October 7th through 8th in Plano, Texas. Visit dsnevents.com today for details.
I'm glad you brought up personal development. It's something that's really near and dear to my heart as well. And it's one of the methods by which we know we can increase sales. We grow our people, we can grow sales. It's not just about increasing the number of people, but also the activity and the leadership within each of them. I'm curious how you bring that into New You Life. I know it is such an important concept and idea and practice for you. How do you bring that to the field?
I'm here to help people create relationships. I'm here for one reason. I make products. I want to give the best products to my people. Sales don't matter. I'm here to learn from my people, support my people, be there for my people. To me, Wayne, over the last 3 decades, the only way I was able to face challenges is to look at other people's challenges. So it was never really focused on the numbers. I don't know how I made it this far, not focusing on numbers, but focusing on people, but it's worked. So I've met with a lot of professionals, way better than me, that completely disagree with the way that I think. And they're like, look, eventually you have to focus on the money. I refuse to. So I have a team that will help me do that I can rely on. But my focus is directly on those amazing humans that decide to follow us. They decide to follow us. They decide to believe in us, right? I can't focus on sales. I focus on empowering them any way that I can, whether with their health primarily. That's what I'm good at, and then again with the personal growth. So we started with talking about personal growth and personal development. If I'm able to bring a person here and they gain a little bit of knowledge on personal development and they grow personally as well, whether they stay or they leave the industry, they took a tool that takes a lifetime to teach into the world with them, especially in what's coming to face us with robotics and AI. They're going to need this tool more than ever. So personal development is what I try to offer here in our family in New Life, right? And personal development, and of course, my priority is life is so short. Okay, you have to be healthy to be competitive. Whether it's good economy, whether it's bad economy, whether you have a job, whether you don't have a job. I've told my clients for 30 years plus, the only thing you don't play with is the quality of your day-to-day living, right? And this is where you'll be able to compete in the world. You'll be able to feel good, to be able to be capable in competing with everybody out there, mentally, physically, and every other way. So this is how I look at it.
I think that's beautiful. And your focus on the people over the profits, I think, says so much about you as a leader and the culture you've created there. And I know that that's why you've had such incredible field leaders and distributors and customers stay with you for years now. With this push over the last several years across the channel to become more customer-centric and customer-focused, how do we continue to stay really deeply connected and rooted with our field leaders?
Getting to know them individually. This is something new. I've usually, I'm going to be completely honest and transparent, as I usually always am. When you get busy and you're growing so much, even in my past businesses, I tend to forget or not slow down enough. As an entrepreneur, as a visionary, as a creator, you don't stop and look around you. You can't succeed without your circle. It doesn't matter how good you are. You can't succeed without your circle. You have to sit down and get to know your circle. You have to get to know these people. You have to learn their differences. You have to learn what you have alike in common, the similar, and you have to build bridges together. You have to build bridges together. That's the only way to maintain relationship, to authenticate relationships, to build a bridge that's really hard to damage. If I know my leaders and my inner circle, that helps me go to the next level really, really well, I can predict and I can set forth expectations in a certain way where it's not a shocker 24/7. If they understand transparency is the second most important thing, they'll be able to understand how we work, how we operate, and their success are our primary goal. It's not about my innovation. It's about who's going to take my innovation to the next level. So without our team, without our people, without our leaders, that's impossible. If you want to succeed, you have to get to know your leaders. So lately, the last year specifically, I've been spending individual time with a lot of my leaders here at Neolife and creating bonds. Hopefully that will be here for a lifetime. Whether they're here or not, we'll be best friends and I'll be there for them no matter what. This is, to me, it's a great thank you for everything they've done, and I'm more respectful of their time now more than ever. And I know what they do and I know what they go through, and it's creating something extremely special for both of us.
Continuing with how you spend your time as a CEO, it's really easy, as you mentioned, to get caught up in the day-to-day operations of the company, but you also are so deeply connected to your field leaders, to your customers. I'm curious how you look at balancing the product formulation side, the field motivation and inspiration side, and then the operational side as a CEO. How do you balance all those things? Where do you put the priority, or does it just shift based on the needs of what's going on?
For me, I'm not an investor. Okay. I'm not a short term, I'm a forever kind of guy. Okay. Whenever I create a relationship and I have something special with somebody, I like to work on it from now until I'm dead. When I enter an industry and I make a promise, I don't care what we go through, the ups and downs, I'm going to be here forever. So at the end of the day, my commitment is my word. And I got to show people this is a place you can trust more than anything. Spending special time with people, being able to adjust to the challenges that you're talking about that we face, to the responsibilities from operations all the way to our distributors, all the way to growth, strategizing, growing. Time can become a real challenge. I've invested quite a bit in mentorship myself, okay, to be able to learn how to be better for these people. I have a lot of responsibilities here. Managing my time is so important. This is a previous question. How am I able to manage my time to be with certain people, to be able to empower them and get to know my people better? It's not easy. It's not easy. Another part of it is I just love what I do. I just love what I do. I don't do it for money. So I don't care if we have one customer left here. I'll be here spending all my time with them, right? I don't do this for money. I don't care what happens. I don't care if it goes up. I don't care if it goes down. This is a pleasure every single day. So that kind of takes all the weight off of the time management, right? So but it can put a lot of stress on relationships. It can put a lot of stress on the rest of your team based on expectations. But for me, I'm just grateful to be able to leave home and come sit behind my desk and talk to people. If it's 5 hours, good. if they give me 23 out of my 24 and an hour sleep, I'll be more than happy than ever. So, you know, time restraint is not a challenge for me. It's actually, I wish there's like 35 hours every day or like 48. But managing it can make me better for these people as well. So trust me, I dabble with it, and I've taken courses and mentorships for people in the billions to see how they do it, so I can get more efficient. But it's not because it's too much. It's because I want more of it. So that's how I feel about that one.
Yeah, well, that passion is definitely evident and contagious, I know, for all of us listening. As you look at the field leaders, and it relates to product, again, being so core to your business, how do you help field leaders connect people authentically through product experiences when many of them are going to be business first or take that business first approach?
I try to bring them in with me on my journey from the beginning till now. Fortunately, luckily, whatever you call it, I'm the product in your life. I make the products. Thank God I've been able to do this for the last 3 decades plus, right? So, and I've been, you know, somewhat successful, because money doesn't count. It's been how many lives you changed, right? I bring people in at the beginning of my journey, and I explain to them why I do what I do, and why I'm here today, and how I was able to surpass certain challenges. I bring them because I live in an industry for 3 decades. I know what's cool and what's not. I know what's temporary and what's not. I know what's a category that's here to be a fad that's going to last a year to 3 years. And I know what's a category that's going to be here for the next 30 years. I know I've done that forever with almost 1,000, over 700 products easily. So successful people have to learn about what they promote and what they sell. No, the old days are gone, where you just have to learn leadership, right? You have to be a little bit more intertwined and have some knowledge in what you are providing. You're competing with computers. You're competing with AI. So your leadership skills are always good to rely on, but to have internal knowledge on who you're dealing with, your audience, especially what you're selling, is so important to have a lead against the competition. You have to understand exactly where you stand out. And this is my responsibility, and this is what I owe these people, and I try to provide them with as much as I can. So education, 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 nonstop.
Can you expand on that just a little bit more? In today's world where we're bombarded by Me Too products, how do you approach product differentiation and product quality?
Yeah, product quality is I try to take them through the course of where we do our products, where we manufacture our product, and make them understand how we are different, right? Consistency as well through the changes. I give them internal information, inside information. So a lot of people, I noticed, is they try to separate. You don't need to know how I run my business, just go do your business. I don't agree with that. I agree with the restaurant being completely open. They can see inside how the waiters are working, and how the cook is operating, how the sous chef is operating, and how the top chef is operating. They're gonna see some people drop plates. Okay, they're gonna see some stuff getting burnt. And this is what I meant earlier about bringing them in on what I go through on every single day. And I'm extremely fortunate because I was able to, you know, over the last 7.5 years, I was able to build a team that sees what I see. As all we are is a service company to these people, and we owe them transparency. Bring them into the kitchen, or let them see what's happening in the kitchen, and they will understand, and they will believe, because they see what we go through, right? Um, uh, this is deep, because this has to do with investing into the money, monetary investing. They're going to see a lot of this stuff transparently, and they're going to be able to judge you on their own. So you might not be good enough for certain people, right? I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to show everybody the truth and everything. I'm going to learn to get better for everyone. But what I meant by that is, come into my business, come into my house, see how I live, and lead by example. And again, anchor on our pillars, on our core values, on our principles. And again, I'm grateful to the team that I have internally that are able to build a group of servant leaders, right? A group of servants, period. There's nothing wrong to be a servant. Nothing wrong with being a servant. And that's what we're here for. We're here to serve people. So that's, hopefully that answers your question about the
does.
part, because it has a lot of, brackets. If I missed anything, let me know and I will elaborate a little bit more. But this is it. Come in on the kitchen and see all our mistakes, our good and bad, and you'll see what we stand for. You'll see what we are about as a company. You'll see what we sacrifice, what we don't. You will give us input, what you want to see better, etc.
Yeah, I think that restaurant analogy is really applicable and goes a long way in I think describing of how you let people in behind the curtain. I think that is a really key differentiator where so many companies today, maybe especially in the D2C world, just grab a product or an ingredient off the shelf, slap a label on it, and it's all about the numbers. But we as consumers today want to know where the products came from, how they're manufactured, and that makes a company, a brand, and product stand out so much more in comparison to all of those others that don't have that authenticity or intimacy within the supply chain and manufacturing process. I think that's really powerful.
Correct. But it's not easy. This is very hard, and I'm just lucky. Thank God. Again, been 30 years on this journey, right? And that's the only reason I'm able to build that journey for over 30 years. When people come in and tell me, "What is this? What's the difference between this and that?" I'm able to tell them because of the 30 years experience. I can answer any question. How is this different? Why is it different? Is this competition? Does this work with that? All these questions are so important to deal. And again, I'm just blessed because I came from that industry, already. I'm able to apply this and give support to the customers and distributors and everybody else.
Over those 30 years of experience, you've developed so many incredible products in so many categories. I'm curious how you approach, as the chief formulator there, how do you approach product extensions? Where do you look for those new opportunities and new innovations? How do you discover them?
Man,
I know that's a big question.
all over the place. Man, I dabble with food for medicine. I dabble to for I even use, I'm trying to cross the line between nutraceutical and pharmaceutical worlds. And I see I've been able to get it closer and closer. And we're on the brink of connecting both together, where it starts from your food and it ends up at the extreme where you need medicine. So understanding that allows me to get a little bit more depth into what ingredients are natural based on location, geography, based on times and changes, based on pollution, based on use of plastics, epigenetics, genetic changes. There are so many. You might get bored sitting here talking to me about this because I can talk about the subject for about 5 years without taking a breath. Right. So
No, this is fascinating.
I love this. I love this. And it's like I wish I can communicate enough with people about understanding how I come up with the categories and why, but every single one is valid, from looking at demographics and what the world's going to, all the way to the top ailments with science, looking at how to blend in science and technology, looking at how do you apply AI and ask AI questions and they give you answers, right? When do you apply this on product making and how does it correlate? It is very extensive and it's very intensive as well. This is some of the things that I base it on. I'm always diving deep into product, talking to multiple people, experimenting with so many products myself 24/7. I make products for myself 24/7, right? I make products for my old clients from 30 years ago. So I'm in it. I live it. It almost takes precedent over my CEO business, right? This is one of the hard things that, I go back to the time you asked me earlier, how do you do it?
Sure.
This is my time. This is my life. That's what brings me pleasure. And then I apply it. I apply it on the rest. It is a brilliant category in the world. The wellness and health industry is only going to grow. It's only going to grow. The hard part is what you said earlier about the Me Too's. Everything's Me Too. I think when people know who you are, what you stand for, what you're teaching, and why you're developing a product, the story is key. The story is key. And I think I'm going to say it. I'm proud of it. I'm good at that. Okay. After proving this with many brands and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of products, I've been able to explain metaphorically sometimes to the consumer why it's important, how it plays a role in their everyday life. This is how you create a relationship with that person. And you know what? One of the worst thing ever is to push products on people that they don't need to be using and they don't need to be selling. Okay. And again, make the fact that I'm not about selling, I don't know how I'm saying this as a CEO. And a lot of people can get mad at me now, but man, I remember through my store days, I'd recommend stuff to people and they would be like, "Hey, you're a great salesperson." I used to actually not be happy about that comment, right? Now I'm matured enough to know that we're all selling something. I'm selling education, we're selling religion, we're selling whatever we're selling, we're all salespeople. And that's how we communicate with other people. We're selling anything. But back then I used to feel offended when somebody gave me a compliment, "Man, you're a great salesperson," because I spent so much time and energy finding out everything about this person to give them something custom and specific to them, right? So we understood each other eventually. But this is a big passion of mine on we need to cross that line and understand each other to create that journey, that story that's custom to every single individual. And this is why I don't see competition. I need all my colleagues and the other brands to help me with this. We should be one. We lead the world in the wellness industry, not the little brands here and there, not the big companies, Cloroxes that buy our brands here and there. Us, the ones that actually share the story. Our people, our consumers, our customers, and our distributors share the story. We owe them exactly that. You're going to empower them with that weapon, with that tool of why we're different, how we're different, and how that plays a role in their everyday life.
I really appreciate that you brought up the importance of the story. Honestly, I'm not sure anyone has mentioned that yet in any of the podcast interviews. And there is such an art and a science to it. As we know, we could have, any company, we could have such a great product. And if we can't communicate those benefits and connect with the end consumer, it's never going to get into their hands. It's never going to get into their bodies. And in today's social world and digital first world, it's even more important than ever to communicate that story really succinctly and really quickly, like in the first 5 seconds. And so that is such an important part of having a successful product, is having a story that resonates and communicates those benefits. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course, thank you.
So there is a lot of discussion right now around compensation plans, the right structure for today's distributors in an increasingly influencer and affiliated centric world. Can you share a little bit about how the company's approaching this, and if and how you're evolving the compensation plan in any way?
I know I'm the CEO and I'll adapt and do my best to adjust compensation plans to be competitive. This is key and it's important. But my answer is it's not about the compensation plan. It has nothing to do. Look, everybody's compensation plan worked at one point. It's what you're training the people, what you're selling the people, how you empower the people, and your continuity and your word and the trust. I can give you everybody's compensation plan is good. Every compensation plan has created millionaires, every single one. So that's my heart CEO answer. And then there's a brain CEO answer next, right? Let's get back to reality, Alexy. Okay. Forget all the heart and passion. There's business people here that want to operate, and there's a changing industry. The leader of today is different than the leader of yesterday. The challenges they face are completely different than what the challenges they faced a decade ago. So I think it's a 50-50. Yes, the comp plan is extremely important to be able to benefit people at different level more rapidly and show rewards quickly, because the competition shows that out there in the world. So so we definitely have to show that. It's not really the only relying factor, but being able to adapt. I know in the past has always been said, you change your comp plan is the biggest risk you can ever take. You have to take risks to be successful. You have to take risks to change, to adapt. Every product you make is a risk. Every comp plan change is a risk. Every investment you make is a risk. And this is something that I believe, company owners and leaders and CEOs should be definitely experimenting with.
Thank you for rooting us back into what's important as it relates to our businesses and our people. So, what is a key piece of advice that you'd offer to other direct selling CEOs about how to succeed in today's landscape?
Me give advice to CEOs? Oh my goodness. Uh, I had to learn from most CEOs out there because they're all brilliant. And I've learned some things over the first times in terms of we have to continue to grow. And every minute I've spent with professionals and other CEOs in my industry or other industries has been such an honor because every word they say, I learned from them. What I would say is continue to grow to be able to serve people because it's ever changing out there. Whatever you thought you knew yesterday, it's obsolete and you can't even apply it. So you have to grow today to serve tomorrow. You have to grow today to serve tomorrow. A lot of people become complacent and they're like, okay, we're doing well. Doing well, that means the beginning of the end. That means you're comfortable. I think you have to challenge yourself every single day as a CEO instead of become complacent. That this is just the beginning. For me, every day is just the beginning. Every time I wake up, I erase all the knowledge that I have, and what am I going to learn today? And this is one thing I can tell my fellow CEOs out there.
I love that. There's so much to learn from that. Alexy, you've been so generous with your time. I'd love to close out with one final question. As you look out over the next 3 to 5 years, which seems like an eternity, but it's going so fast now and so much change is happening in such a short window, what excites you the most about direct selling?
Oh my goodness. Applying all the changes that most people are afraid of are going to be our backbone. I'm so excited because the world is going to appreciate the word network more than ever because they're going to be working with technology and they're going to be missing that human element. So be human, be human, be yourself, be transparent. We need each other. We're going to need each other in the next 5 to 10 years more than we ever have before. So harness that energy from the people around you, give them some love, some respect, and make sure they rely on you. So make sure you rely on those core values that you present. Extremely important in the next decade, 5 years to a decade. It seems like it's a long time, but it will be here before you know it. So, but this is where I see it's extremely exciting. The word networking and network marketing is going to be experiencing something extremely special in the next 5 years because of that. Technology is going to force us back to rely on each other. That's how I see it.
Alexy, thank you for leaving us with that inspiration and for sharing all the insights over the last hour. Thank you for the incredible steward that you are of your community and people there, and the incredible impact that you also have on the broader direct selling channel and helping us all to gather together and move forward collectively. Thank you so much.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and have a beautiful day, everybody out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in. Please take a moment to subscribe and give a 5-star rating and review to help Direct Approach continue to provide more candid insights and interviews for direct selling corporate executives. We also invite you to join us for the Fall DSU happening October 7th through 8th in Plano, Texas. Visit dsnevents.com today for details. Thank you for listening and supporting DSN and the Direct Approach podcast.